All right, everyone, ready to dive in. Today we're tackling Jim Rohn's Leading an Inspired Life.
This one's a classic.
It really is. If you're looking for wisdom that actually makes a difference in, well, your whole approach to life,
Yeah.
this is it.
Ron doesn't sugarcoat things.
No, he doesn't.
Mm.
But it's not just about, you know, getting rich or climbing some corporate ladder. It's deeper than that.
He's all about building that foundation.
Yes, a foundation for a successful life, but on your own terms. Ron's got a knack for making even those big, kind of scary concepts like discipline and goal setting, well,
Totally doable.
exactly. It's like having a personal success coach right there with you. So chapter 1, the discipline to achieve. He starts with this story, I think we've all been there,
Working hard, putting in the hours.
but still struggling. Ron was right there with us. He talks about how he was grinding away, but financially, things just weren't clicking.
It's like effort alone isn't always enough.
Exactly, until something fundamental shifted in his thinking.
You need the right kind of effort.
Yes, guided by discipline. Ron really nails it when he calls discipline that bridge, you know, the one that connects your dreams to what you actually achieve.
It's what keeps you going even when you don't feel like it.
Okay, full disclosure, there are definitely days when my motivation is MIA. So how do we even cultivate that? Is discipline something you're born with, or can we actually learn it?
Ron was convinced it's a skill. It's something you develop over time. And one of his big things was don't think of discipline as this punishment.
That's such a shift in thinking.
It's a path to freedom. Seriously, think about it. Discipline with your money, no debt stress. Discipline with your health. You're free to live a more active life, a more fulfilling life.
I like that reframing. It's not restriction, it's empowerment.
You're in control, making choices that support your goals.
So how does this play out in everyday life? Give us some concrete examples.
Let's say you're learning a new language. You can buy all the books, all the apps, but without the discipline to study and practice consistently.
You're not becoming fluent anytime soon.
Right. Discipline turns knowledge into action, and action into mastery.
Like that saying, knowledge is potential power, action is power.
Nailed it. And Ron, he had this whole thing about the danger of exaggerating.
Oh, I remember that story.
He learned it the hard way. Cycle of debt, broken promises. It was a wake-up call that even those little exaggerations, they chip away at trust. And trust is the foundation of everything.
So true. Especially in today's world, right?
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in that hype cycle, maybe inflate the truth a little bit, think you're getting ahead. But Ron's saying real success,
It's built on integrity, being authentic.
being you.
And when you tie that back to discipline, it's discipline in what you say, what you do.
Yeah.
Always striving to be honest, transparent.
That's how you build a reputation people can actually count on. So we've got discipline as this underlying current, commitment to integrity. Where does Ron take us from there?
Chapter 2 is where things get really juicy. The art of personal development. He talks about his mentor, Mr. Schuff, who completely changed his perspective on success.
Yeah, I've heard him talk about Mr. Schoaf, a total game changer. What were some of the key lessons he took away from that relationship?
One that always stuck with me. All that you have at the moment, you've attracted by the person you are. Boom.
Okay, that is powerful. So it's not about chasing external stuff. It's about
Inner growth.
developing the qualities that attract success, like a magnet.
You become success. It's about being the kind of person who's just naturally disciplined, resourceful, driven to make a positive impact.
Okay, that sounds great, but how do we even start to become successful? Are there concrete steps?
Ron connects this idea to Benjamin Franklin's principles of success, still incredibly relevant today.
Love Ben Franklin.
So, first principle, find pleasure in doing good work.
Not just getting it done, but actually enjoying the process.
Right. Second, make yourself more valuable, constantly learning, expanding your skill set, becoming an expert. The more you invest in yourself, the more you have to offer.
And that value naturally leads to more opportunities and success.
Makes sense. And lastly, this one's important, find pleasure in the journey, not just the destination.
Oh, that's huge. So many people fall into that I'll be happy when trap.
Embrace the process, celebrate the small wins, find joy in the everyday moments.
It's a total mindset shift.
Imagine someone so fixated on a promotion that they're miserable in their current job. They're sacrificing their present happiness for a future reward that might never even happen.
Talk about burnout waiting to happen.
Ron's saying find that fulfillment now while you're working towards your goals.
It's that balance, enjoying the journey and being excited about where you're headed.
Perfect.
So we've got discipline, self-development. It's like we're building this solid foundation.
Yeah.
What's the next brick in Ron's roadmap to an inspired life?
Chapter 3 is all about setting compelling goals. And he uses this fantastic analogy of a determined traveler.
I love a good analogy. Paints a picture.
This traveler knows exactly where they're going. Nothing can derail them.
So how do we become those determined travelers in our own lives? When it comes to our aspirations, what does that even look like?
It starts with vision. Ron says if you don't know what you want, you'll just end up settling for whatever life throws your way. He breaks down goal setting into steps, starting with identifying both short-term and long-term goals.
I think long-term is where a lot of people get stuck. It can be so overwhelming.
Right. So break those big, audacious goals down into smaller steps. Create a timeline, a roadmap with key milestones.
So you're not focusing on that huge end goal. It's a series of achievable targets.
You're moving forward step by step. He also says, visualize those milestones. Really imagine yourself achieving them.
Makes it feel more real.
And most importantly, understand the why behind each goal.
The why is everything. It's what keeps you going when things get tough.
It's the difference between, say, lose 10 pounds and lose 10 pounds so I have more energy to play with my kids.
It's the emotional connection.
Totally. Speaking of which, Ron has this hilarious anecdote about paying off his debts. Dramatic fashion. Briefcase full of cash, dumps it on his creditor's desk, says, count it, I'll never be back.
Classic Rohn.
It highlights that feeling, that emotional impact of achieving a goal, even a small one. Like becoming debt-free, it can fuel you to keep pushing forward.
So, dear listener, I'm asking you right now, what are your top goals? Career, relationships, health, personal growth. Don't just think about what you want to achieve, but how achieving those goals would actually transform your life. What would be different?
It's a powerful exercise.
Getting clear on those goals and their impact, you tap into a deeper motivation.
Absolutely.
So far, we've got discipline, self-development, setting those compelling goals.
Yeah.
It feels like a real framework for success is starting to emerge. What's next on Ron's list?
Chapter 4 takes us into the world of ideas. Ron was a bookworm, a lifelong learner. He believed continuous learning is essential for growth, for success.
He even suggests setting up an educational fund. Invest in your personal growth. I love that. It's like recognizing your mind is your most valuable asset.
Right. You're investing in it. Knowledge is power. And he talks about 3 main ways we can learn from others: reading, listening to audio programs, and finding a mentor.
And here's where he tells that funny story about not having $2 to buy Girl Scout cookies. Hard to imagine Jim Rohn being broke.
It shows that everyone starts somewhere. Even the most successful people face setbacks.
It's also about those small goals, right?
Yeah.
Even something like having enough cash on hand can motivate you to get your finances in order.
Financial discipline is key. Ron believed that. Frees you from worry. Lets you focus on your passions.
So we've got discipline, personal development, goal setting, and the power of ideas. It's a pretty solid base. But how do we piece all this together to create a life that's truly inspired? What's Ron's next move?
Chapter 5, he introduces what he calls the 5 major pieces of the life puzzle.
Ooh, a puzzle. Okay, I'm intrigued. What are those pieces?
Work, family, spiritual growth, friendships, and personal development.
5 big pieces. So neglecting any one of these can.
Mess things up. Yeah, it's about finding balance.
Harmony across your whole life.
And Ron, he has this cool idea to help visualize it. A visual chain of thought.
A chain. Okay, I'm picturing it.
So each link is one of those 5 areas. The chain's only as strong as its weakest link, right?
So if one area is weak, the whole thing suffers.
Exactly. It's a way to map out your goals, your plans, and see how it all fits together.
A roadmap for a life that's not just successful, but fulfilling too.
That's it.
So we've got our 5 puzzle pieces. What's next?
Chapter 6, we're talking leadership. And this is where Ron really gets you thinking. He doesn't limit leadership to, CEOs or politicians. Everyone's a leader in some way.
So whether you're leading a team at work, a family at home,
Or just leading yourself through life's ups and downs.
these principles still apply.
Absolutely. And he really emphasizes humility. Not as a weakness, but as strength. Being aware of your place in the grand scheme of things. Be proud, but not arrogant.
It's a fine line, but an important one.
And speaking of serving others, he talks a lot about building a strong team. Essential for success no matter what you're doing.
So how do you even go about building a solid team? What should you look for?
Ron gives us a 4-part checklist. First, their history, qualifications.
Okay, the basics.
But then, and this is crucial, check their attitude, their work ethic.
Ah, so more than just skills.
He believed attitude trumps skills any day. You can teach skills, but attitude, that's tough to change.
Looking for those people who are positive, who take initiative.
Exactly. Third, watch how they handle tough situations. Are they resilient? Can they solve problems?
So how they deal with pressure, with setback.
Right. And finally, look at their track record. What have they actually achieved?
Results matter.
Always. So you're looking at skills, attitude, resilience, and proven results.
Got it.
And once you've got your team, it's all about creating that positive environment where everyone can thrive.
A culture of trust, respect, where people feel valued.
Right on. Now, shifting gears a bit, Chapter 7 takes us down the road to financial independence.
Love that. Not just getting rich, but being financially free.
Exactly. Having the freedom to make choices that align with your values.
Without money holding you back.
And to guide us, Ron gives us these 3 attitudes of wealth. He learned them from his own mentor, Mr. Schoaf.
Always back to those mentors. All right, lay 'em on us. What are the attitudes?
First, feed the goose that lays the golden eggs.
Love that one.
It's about investing in the things that actually generate wealth, not just spending everything you make.
Making your money work for you?
Yep. The second one, this one's a little counterintuitive, love to pay your bills.
Wait, really?
Ron believed that paying your bills on time with a good attitude is a sign of responsibility, of gratitude.
So shifting your perspective. Bills aren't burdens, they're opportunities too.
Show you're on top of things, that you honor your commitments.
I can see that.
And lastly, everybody must pay.
As in, there's no such thing as a free lunch.
Right. We all have to contribute our fair share. Through taxes, hard work, service to others.
Success comes with responsibility.
To put these attitudes into practice, Ron brings up the richest man in Babylon.
Oh, classic.
Yeah.
What are some of the key takeaways from that one?
One of the big ones is learning to live on 70% of your income. The other 30% goes to savings, investments, charity.
So building that strong financial base, but also
Giving back, making a difference,
balanced approach.
and teaching kids about money, about entrepreneurship from a young age.
Financial literacy is so important. Give them the tools early on.
Exactly. So we've covered a lot, right? Discipline, personal development, setting goals, the power of ideas. We've got our 5 life puzzle pieces, talked about leadership, about financial independence.
It feels like a real blueprint for an inspired life is starting to take shape. But I have a feeling there's more to come. What's Ron's next move?
Well, Chapter 8 dives into communication. Ron believed it's essential for success in every area of life.
Communication makes the world go round. Relationships, leadership, even just getting your point across.
It's the key. And he emphasizes having something worthwhile to say.
So how do we make sure we've got something valuable to share?
Cultivate your interests, expand your knowledge, have experiences that broaden your perspective.
Become a well-rounded person with insights to offer.
Right. And once you have something to say, he gives tips on how to say it effectively. Be sincere. Practice your message. Learn to use emotion in your language.
Connect with people on a deeper level.
Yeah. And be mindful of your audience. You don't communicate the same way with everyone.
Totally different vibe talking to a close friend versus a potential client.
Exactly. Avoid jargon. Keep it clear and concise. And he even gives advice on delivering criticism kindly and effectively.
Ooh, that's a tough one. How do you do that?
He suggests the 3-for-1 rule.
Refresh my memory.
For every criticism, give 3 genuine compliments.
So balance the negative with positive.
The person still feels valued, even when you're correcting them. Makes the criticism easier to swallow.
And more likely they'll actually hear what you're saying and make those changes.
Ready to unlock the secrets of persuasion.
Bring it on. I'm always looking for ways to up my communication game, especially when it comes to influencing others, getting my ideas across.
Well, Chapter 9 is all about that. Persuasive communication. Ron breaks it down into principles anyone can learn.
What are some of those key principles? How do we become more persuasive?
Building rapport is huge. Establish that connection, find common ground, build trust.
Make the other person feel heard, understood.
Exactly. Then understand their motivations. What are their needs, their fears?
Meet them where they are. Frame your message so it resonates.
And be ready for objections. Have strategies for handling them respectfully and convincingly.
Acknowledge concerns, back up your position, find solutions that work.
He also highlights the power of storytelling.
Oh, everyone loves a good story.
It makes your message stick, connects with people emotionally.
It's not just dry facts. It's a narrative that people remember.
Now, on to Chapter 10, where we dive into the fundamentals of business success.
Okay, let's talk business. But these are skills anyone can benefit from, right?
Absolutely. Whether you're running a company, working for someone else, or just managing your own life.
So what's step 1 on the road to business success? What's Ron's take?
He introduces what he calls the ant philosophy, based on three things: hard work, preparation, and gathering resources.
Love that imagery. Those ants, always working, always planning ahead.
Be proactive, anticipate needs, seize those opportunities.
Don't wait for things to come to you.
And speaking of seizing opportunities, he talks about having an enterprising mindset. See challenges as opportunities, be resourceful, create your own success.
Be a problem solver, a go-getter.
Exactly. And then there's time management. Can't talk business without it.
Time is precious. You can't create more of it.
Run the day, Ron says. Don't let it run you. Avoid procrastination.
Oh, procrastination. My arch nemesis. Any tips for beating it?
Break big tasks down into smaller chunks. Set priorities. Focus on the most important things first. Make that to-do list.
Having a plan for your day really helps.
And then there's concentration. Blocking out those distractions so you can really focus.
It's easier said than done sometimes.
Minimize distractions, create a quiet workspace, maybe use noise-canceling headphones, set clear deadlines.
That sense of urgency can be motivating.
And remember, you're not a machine. You need breaks. You need to recharge.
Balance. Always comes back to balance.
Ready for the next chapter? Personal success.
Let's go! It feels like we're shifting gears a bit here, moving from the external world of business
To the internal world. Character, self-mastery. Ron believed that's where true success begins.
So where do we even begin with inner transformation?
Ron starts by separating character from charisma.
Interesting. They're often used interchangeably, but they are different.
Character is the bedrock. Charisma is surface charm.
So who you are at your core versus
How you present yourself and character, it's not something you're born with. You build it through your choices, your actions.
aligning your actions with your values.
He also talks about positive self-direction.
What does that even mean?
Taking responsibility for your own life. Making choices that support your goals. Not letting outside pressures sway you.
You're in the driver's seat.
And he has this question he wants us to ask ourselves regularly. Is what I am doing today getting me closer to where I want to be tomorrow?
Wow. Powerful question. Forces you to really think about if your actions are aligned with where you want to go.
He also acknowledges that fear is a natural part of life, but it shouldn't control us.
Fear can be so crippling, holds us back from going after what we really want.
He gives us strategies for facing those fears. First, identify them. Name them.
Shine a light on those fears.
Then challenge them. Are they real or just in your head?
Separating fact from fiction.
And then the big one, take action despite the fear.
Sometimes that's the hardest part.
He believed courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting in spite of it.
You don't have to be fearless to be courageous.
Right. You can feel afraid, but you move forward anyway.
That takes guts.
On that note of courage and self-mastery, I think we're ready for the final chapter of Leading an Inspired Life. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Chapter 12, Ron encourages us to step back and really reflect. Examine our beliefs, our values, our perspectives,
It's like taking stock of our internal compass.
making sure it's pointing us in the right direction.
And if it's not,
Time for some adjustments. He starts by emphasizing personal philosophy, compares it to the set of a sail, determining our direction.
so our philosophy guides us, shapes our choices.
Be intentional about crafting a philosophy that supports your goals, your values. It's a framework for navigating life's challenges.
It's a set of guiding principles that helps us make sense of it all. And speaking of navigating challenges,
Ron reminds us we don't have to do it alone.
we all need support sometimes.
Mentors, coaches, advisors, they can provide guidance, encouragement, accountability, and be open to learning from others from different perspectives.
Surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow.
And be patient. Things take time.
Patience is definitely a virtue. Sometimes it's hard to remember that.
Lasting achievements require effort and time. Persevere through those setbacks without giving up.
Trust the process. Success is a journey.
He uses examples from history, like the Allied victory in World War II, the resilience of the Russians during the siege of Leningrad,
Incredible examples of human resilience in the face of overwhelming odds.
and then he talks about ratios. Even with a low success rate, you can still outperform someone with a higher rate just by putting in more effort.
It's about consistency, about showing up and doing the work.
And never stop learning, growing. Keep that curiosity alive.
Lifelong learning.
He wraps up by emphasizing personal responsibility, taking charge of your life, looking at your own numbers, finances, health, relationships.
Owning your choices, owning your life.
You have the power to create the future you want.
So there it is, Jim Rohn's roadmap to leading an inspired life.
It's been quite a journey.
What are some of the things that really stuck with you?
I think the emphasis on personal responsibility is huge. We are the architects of our own lives. We choose our thoughts, our actions, our destiny.
It's empowering, right?
It is. And the importance of a positive mindset. Seeing challenges as opportunities, surrounding yourself with the right people. And he gives us the tools to actually put it all into practice.
From goal setting to communication to building relationships to managing our finances.
It's all there.
In those stories he tells, those anecdotes,
Yeah.
they make it all so relatable.
He doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk.
You can feel his passion for helping people.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure diving into this with you.
Likewise. As we wrap things up, what's one question we want to leave our listeners with? Something to really get them thinking.
How about this? What's one area of your life where you feel like you could be leading with more inspiration?
Ooh, good one.
Is it your work, your relationships, even just your own personal growth?
Yeah.
And once you've identified that area, what's one tiny step you can take today to get a little closer to that vision?
Love that. Actionable, but also gets you thinking on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Ron's all about empowering us to create the lives we want.
And it all starts with taking responsibility.
And then
Yeah.
those first steps.
Don't underestimate those small steps. Ron talks about compound interest.
Oh, yeah. He loves that analogy.
Over time, those little actions.
Add up to huge change.
Exactly.
So don't dismiss the power of a single step, a single choice, even a single moment of courage. That can be the thing that changes everything.
Well said. That pretty much wraps up our deep dive into leading an inspired life. We covered a lot. Discipline, personal development, the power of goals, financial independence.
We talked about those 5 pieces of the life puzzle, dove into communication, persuasion.
Even cracked the code on business and personal success.
But it all comes back to that core message.
Right.
True success isn't just about the external stuff. It's about becoming the best version of you.
Living a life that has meaning, making a difference.
And leading a life that inspires, not just for yourself, but for others too.
So as we wrap up, remember, the journey doesn't end here.
Now it's time to take what you've learned and put it into practice. In your own life.
Keep learning, keep growing,
Keep leading an inspired life.
and we'll be here rooting for you every step of the way.
Until next time,
Keep chasing those dreams and never stop believing in what's possible.
thanks for joining us.
See you next time.